right, all right. Everybody, look, I'm really excited because I have my friend, my really, really good friend. We've known each other for a long time. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But Chuck Hawkins of the Hawk Vision podcast. Hello. I'm seeing some folks saying hello already. So let me go ahead and greet you and say hello, Scott, and the honest recruiter, also known as Dan the Man, and Yvette C. Lee
Robert.
Music. Wonderful to see everybody. Let me go ahead and pull Chuck in just to say hi to everyone really quickly.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here. She told me not to be nervous, so I won't be, but I am.
You should not be. Look, wait till I tell y'all about Chuck in just a minute. But before I do that, let me do my official. Okay, here's my official. For those of you who don't know us, I'm Tanya Smith of Stream Like a Boss TV and Get Noticed with Video. And the reason why I do this live stream every week is because of you. I enjoy, I love, I'm passionate about all the words about enthusiasm, etc. I have fun getting to talk about live streaming and talking about just visual media, especially for coaches who are trying to stand out, serve more people, and sell more of your services. So that's what this show is all about. But every now and then I get to really sit down with experienced entrepreneurs, and a lot of these people are people that I've known for years. And Chuck is one of them who I get super excited about because Chuck, you probably were one of the first people that interviewed me. I don't know if you know that or not, but
Wow. No,
you
I
were
did
one of
not
the
know.
first people that I ever interviewed with, and I was super nervous then. So now I get to switch.
That is hilarious. No, I didn't know that. I just knew when that was back during the first days of Hustle Harder, and when I that was before podcasts were even a thing. But when I found you and started watching what you were doing, it was phenomenal. It was ahead of its time. I was like, I have to have Tanya on, and there was no way that I would think that. I mean, the way that you delivered, there's no way I would think you were one of the first. That I was one of the first interviews you ever had.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing from Dan that there's some feedback issues, so we may need
Uh
to.
oh.
Let me double check. Do you have on? You have on headphones, don't you? And
I
so
have
do
on
I.
headphones, yes.
Okay, so what I may need to do is fix something on
Maybe I
my
need to
end.
stop moving around.
I think it might be me because I'm still getting used to something. I'm getting used to this. Yeah, hearing an echo. Yes. Let me fix that. Hold on one second. I'm gonna see if I
Okay.
can fix it. Let's see. Did that fix anything? I don't know. Speak a little bit for me, Chuck.
I'm just gonna drink my coffee till you're ready. How did that work?
I
Am I
don't know if that
echoing?
fixed it or not. You know, this is the beauty of podcasting.
Very much so.
The beauty of
Very much so.
podcasting and doing any type of live stream or broadcast, period, is that you're going to have some potential issues. So I'm going to fix, I
Yeah.
think I'm going to try to fix it a different way.
Well, the
Uh,
joy of it, if it's an echo, you get to hear greatness twice, right? So I think if anything that Tanya says is going to be great, I'm going to try to add some value, and we'll be able to rock from there. I trust you on any platform, anytime.
that is so funny. I'm only hearing it when Chuck speaks. Okay, that's odd.
Hmm.
So look, I'm going to be real. It's fixed. Okay. Scott's,
Okay,
everybody's saying it's fixed. Well, hey,
let's rock with it.
what? What? Look, y'all. Okay, we just play around and experiment and kind of fix things as we go. So if it's fixed, I'm super happy because I need you to hear Chuck. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know. So, Radiance by Raytilla Salon and Mini Spa says it's fixed. Thank you, beautiful. I'm
Okay.
going to fix a couple of other things too. But while I do that, I'm going to go ahead and play my short intro video and then I'm going to come back and do an official introduction. But for those of you who are brand new to the show, I want you to put in hashtag newbie. If you've been watching us every week, because we've been on every week for a while now, I want you to type in hashtag OG. And I'm going to play my short intro video to make sure a couple of other things are fixed. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk to Chuck. And Chuck, I got time today. So trust. We're gonna
That
have some fun in a minute.
that kind of sounds like a threat. I don't know
It's
if I
not
like
a
telling you with time. I
threat. It's a
don't. I don't.
promise.
I like time blocks. Look,
It's a promise. It's not a threat.
this
Thank
should
you,
be fun. This
OGs in
should
the
be
house. I
fun.
see you. All right, here we go. We'll be right back.
All right. How's the volume?
I think the volume might be okay. Look, he was doing his fix. Look, y'all know we have
Listen,
to
I
look
told her I
right.
couldn't come on the show with chapped lips, so that's a whole other thing.
It
I
is a
promise I'm
thing.
gonna behave.
He's not going to behave, but that's okay because that's what makes it fun. And Chuck, look, one of the things that I know about you is that you are real
Yes,
all the time. Authentic, real. I know people use those words and they use them kind of willy nilly, but that's one of the reasons why you are my brother and why we have stayed in touch for so long is because you know how you talked about when we first met and you did my podcast interview. One of the
yeah,
things I never forgot about you is how you have a heart for entrepreneurs. You've always been someone who has been a champion for others.
yeah.
You help people to see you help people see who they can be, what the possibilities are. And I'm not making this up. I'm not blowing smoke, right? I'm telling you
Yeah.
this because this is what I've seen in the interviews that you've done. I kind of, I go and I do my homework when I have guests, but not only that,
Yes.
I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
So I've
Yeah.
seen what you've done. I've seen you uplift others. You usually are not the person that's being interviewed. You're the interviewer.
Yes. Very much so. Um, it's weird. I've always been like the anti of the norm, right? So I have the two older sisters, which both of them went to school, great education, got to college, played instruments, all of that stuff. But I am also the son of a Navy SEAL, a retired Navy SEAL, and my dad. Um, Emotional parenting wasn't his thing. He was like, if you want something, go get it. He didn't really give me any guardrails, right? And so for me, it was find the shortest route, stay out of jail, but find the shortest route to success. Find the shortest route to what it is that you want to do, how you want to get whatever it is that you want to get. And I'll never forget that. I can't remember. I think it was Art Williams, A.L. Williams, but he said, "Success is a game of copycat. You just have to make sure you're copying the right cat." And from that point, I was always looking for the cheat code, right? Who had what I was looking for? How could I earn their time instead of just being someone that was like, can I pick your brain? No, I always wanted to earn your time. I always wanted to add value. And then that way they would quote unquote teach you for free. So yeah, I've always been myself. If I can't have fun, I'm not doing it. um, and I pride myself on people skills. I truly believe that your people skills will take you places that your qualifications and your resume sometimes will not.
So, what I want you to share with people is a little bit about your bio. So, I could read it, I could do that. But instead, tell us
Yeah,
something about Chuck. Like, what do people need to know about you? I know you from originally from Hawk Vision podcast.
yeah,
Like, that was and Hustle Harder.
yes.
Okay. So,
The
I
hustle
remember.
harder.
So, tell us about
Um,
you and what you do.
Yeah, great question. I'm still trying to figure it out some days. Um, I am a husband, father. I have all girls, so I'm also a whiskey drinker. But outside of that, I am a serial entrepreneur and a coach and trainer. And I have been interviewing people since before Twitter was mainstream.
Yep.
It's still literally my favorite platform, only because, like I tell everybody, it's the whatever major city you're from, it's the hood of social medias. Meaning that if you aren't the person that you portray to be, you will be found out.
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that it's the only place where you can curate, you can, plan your post and all those things, but sooner or later your personality is going to break out, right? And so I've been able to amass a nice lifestyle with interviews that lead to conversations that lead to business opportunities. And so the podcast is just my latest way of giving back. I've interviewed over, I think, 200 entrepreneurs collectively. I had a friend that asked me if I knew how much um, the podcast was worth. And we were talking about building businesses to sell. And I said, I don't know how much it's worth right now. However, I know if we collectively put everyone's annual revenue that I've interviewed on the show, we'd be a multi-billion-dollar podcast. Um,
Yeah.
and so that's really it. I just, I look for opportunities to make money that allows me to have time to be a parent, which I'm not being right now. Like I told you right before, my daughter and her nail appointment because she's turning 16. I got another one upstairs. So the goal in life is to um, learn how to use the skills that I have um, to create time, create more money, and then show other people how to do the same thing. And it's not that I'm an expert at anything. The only two things that I claim to be an expert at are vision, conversations, and coaching, right? And coaching, I think, is probably the branch on the tree that could go anywhere because I think people, right now everybody's a coach, right? We've talked about this. I hate the lingo, I hate the title, but I think that uh, coaching is one of those things where I can show you how to get to the freeway. Now, take the instructions, I'll get you on the freeway. But once you're out of what I'm good at teaching you, all I can do is point you in the right direction. I will never lead you in the wrong. I'll never lead you in the wrong direction. I will always point you towards the money or the resource or the person. Um, but I think coaching and vision are two of my strong suits.
So when you think about, and I'm gonna put it on you while I fix a couple of things. When you think about the idea that you are kind of I'll say you have your hands in a lot of different things. One thing that I've already
Yes.
always realized about you, Chuck, is that you talk about monetization. Can you share a little bit about the story that you shared with me when you went through a real estate loss? Can you talk a little bit
Yeah.
about that and how you came out of that? And then I do want to pivot a little bit to, I hate that word pivot, but I do want to, I do, it's so just like, oh, I hate overused
It's
words,
overused. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
but I do
Corporate
want to,
lingo annoys
I'll
my
say flip
soul, but I
it.
got you. There we
Okay,
go.
we'll flip it
Um,
over to some media because I want to talk about podcasting and video. If anyone has questions for Chuck, please be sure to put them into the chat. I'm going to fix some quality issues that I'm seeing right now.
yeah,
Meanwhile, I want to also mention this. Dan said twin girls here, so all female
all female
household,
household. Listen,
also
listen.
whiskey drinker.
This is not just coffee, but we're gonna keep it PG. So yes, toast to you, sir. So I'll let you fix that. I will tell the story. Um, it, I've kind of tried to block some of it out, so I don't know the exact years. But right before the last economic meltdown or whatever the case is, I had a coach and a mentor, and I ran by him this idea because we were doing really well in network marketing, and that's a whole nother conversation. I will forever love the MLM industry because of the personal growth that it stresses. You have to have it to be successful in that industry.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, told my coach, I said, listen, there's this house that I absolutely have to have. And he was like, can you afford the house? I was like, yes, I can afford the house. He said, if all your money stops right now, can you afford it for 6 months? In my head, money would never stop, right? Like that's that borderline confidence slash arrogance that I always talk about. In my head, the money would never stop. He was like, Chuck, I wouldn't buy that house yet. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't advise you to do it. I know you're doing really well. You're killing it. You're breaking, the regional records. I don't know if you guys, I don't know if your group, would watch the old school movie Juice. But remember when Queen Latifah told the DJ he was local? I
Mm-hmm.
was local.
Mm-hmm.
I was local. I wasn't international yet. But in my head, I was doing really well. Circle back, we bought the house. We were doing really well. I was still teetering between entrepreneurship and my 9 to 5. Lost the 9 to 5. That wasn't really the issue. The issue was that I began to take success for granted. And I thought success was owed to me at a certain point. I had found a certain amount of systems. I knew what my numbers were. And I was kind of on autopilot. I know, you guys have heard the quote, I'd rather have 100% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own. And so I was working on that model, and I was, everybody else was doing their thing, and I stopped doing the work. Ultimately, we lost the house. And I think that was probably the most humbling experience that I've been in. We lost the house, the car, we lost everything at the same time, and um, it was humbling. But one of the things that it did is that it gave me the clearest vision that I've ever had, for moving forward and what success would look like moving forward. And it wasn't so much the monetary losses. And I talk about money a lot.
Yeah.
I believe that it's not the everything, but it's up there with oxygen, right?
Yeah.
Life is better when you have it. And it wasn't the monetary loss, it was the emotional um, hurdles that my wife had to navigate. New kid, the one that's about to be 16. Um, kind of new to the whole marriage thing, and it was realizing that somebody had put all their trust in me, right? And so when I break down the word vision, which I talk about a lot, the I that I use is for integrity. And this circles back to the question that you asked. The integrity is not so much just business, right? Everybody knows that they have to have the business face. We talked about LinkedIn being your parents are in the room of social media. But the integrity of it is, am I doing everything that I said I would do to the people that are sacrificing while I build this business, right? And it's one thing to show up for your business and have the professional voice and use all the lingo and all of those
Yeah.
things, the appropriate terminology that we would use to build a functional business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can't even say that without choking. But the other part is to make sure that we have that same integrity at home, right? And so if I'm building a business and I tell the wife that I have uh, a contract that I need to renew. I have a meeting from 4 to 5. I have a meeting from 6 to 7. I need to make sure that that communication is just as seamless for the house as it is for the business that I'm building. Because I think entrepreneurs forget that while you're building this dream, that you've communicated to everyone that this is what you're trying to do and this is what we'll be able to do when we
Mm-hmm.
reach the mountaintop, right? We forget that there's people that are building with us, just not functionally,
Yeah.
and those people will often lose out if we don't have the integrity that we're supposed to have with the vision that we're working on.
Yes. 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 I'm going to pop up some comments because I'm laughing at a couple of
Sure.
them. First of all,
Oh,
hey there. I see a lot of OGs in the house, so welcome back. Um, John Lacey said, I only see Ross on Friends trying to move a couch when I hear pivot. He used the word pivot.
that's
And look,
funny.
Dan the man said, you know you're on Ecamm a lot when you're watching another show and thinking, flying from the left, video overlay. Yes. Which is going to help me
Very much
get into the
so.
whole media thing. So, why did you decide to add the whole audio? Because initially it was audio, right, for the podcast?
Yes, yes.
And
And
you've added
initially it was
video.
I added video. So okay, this is good. This is good
Okay.
because we go back
Way back.
years that we don't need to mention. But the audio, right, was, I felt like it was easier for me because I am very low tech, high check, right? That's my saying for as long as I'm alive. If I don't know how to do
Hold
it, I will
up.
pay somebody.
Mm-mm.
I
Stop for
know,
a minute. Stop for a minute.
I
So,
know,
first of all,
I know.
every time. Let me tell you, this dude, he has so many different quotes. If y'all are taking like a bingo card and writing down every phrase, I
Yes,
should give you a different one. Let me see. That should have been the one,
there
not
we
that.
go. There we
Look,
go.
I'm learning my Roadcaster Pro, which we'll talk about too. But I'm learning how to. I'm getting all the stuff right. But
All good.
tell us about. So you said low tech,
High
high
check.
check.
Yes.
Explain.
Um, at the time, and I'm still this way, but at the
Okay.
time, I thought that audio and guys, when I say at the time, we're talking early 2000s, like we're
Yeah.
talking oh oh 02, oh 03. Um, at the time, it for me, it was easier to listen to interviews than it was to be clicking on a website and reading through everything. And I thought, at the time, I was like, this just makes more sense because I don't know anybody that has time to do their day job and read an interview, right? Like
Yeah.
magazines were going out of business, the internet was kind of jumping. Uh, Funny story, real quick. One of the interviews that I had, and I wish I could remember who it was, told me to buy Netflix stock. Then it was $42. These are the conversations that we have on my show. Netflix was $42. I bought 200 shares then, right? Because I trusted this person. So that was how we got the house back. Different house. That's how we got the
Ah.
house back. But anyway, low tech, high check. So I I'm a fan of knowing what I know, right? Like I think that and you're a great example of this. There are a million tools that you
Yeah.
can use to expand your visibility, to automate, and to do all of these things that you need to do now to compete for viewership. And for me, I'd rather outsource that. And I'm not saying that everybody is able to or whatever the case is, but there's tons of free tools, free apps, all that good stuff. I would rather outsource that because I want to work on what's going to bring in revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And if I get caught up in how do I work this app? How do I work this system? I'll never make any money because I know I want to master something before I start using it. Literally last night, my garage door opener broke. And it wasn't broken, it was just that my remote some kind of way disconnected and died. But to set the new remote up, like I literally almost had an aneurysm because I was like, why is this not
It's not working.
the listen, the instructions were very clear, but I was in a rush
Yeah.
because I had other things to do. And I was like, this just kind of just happened. But I had to fix it because the wife was coming home and God forbid she can't park her car in the
That's right.
garage, right? Like, yeah, exactly, right? That's not a thing. So I like to know what I know, work with what I can work on. I am all for asking for help, all for asking for recommendations from people that I trust in the circle. But I'm very low tech, high check. I will outsource at the drop of a hat, right? I think that
Yeah.
we were just talking about me buying a Rodecaster Pro. It would take me probably 90 days to figure out how to work it. And for me, that's 90 days of production,
Yeah.
right? Sweet spot. And so when I talk to people about vision, work in your sweet spot. If that is creating the content, worry about how to get it out later. Create it because most of this stuff doesn't show in chronological order anymore
Yeah.
on any platforms, right? So like Tribe Called Quest said, never say the year on a record. Create the content. Don't say the year or the day or whatever the case, unless it's a holiday or something like that. But create the content, work with what you have, and then you worry about how to get it out there.
Look, he just said another quote.
That's
Just
pretty
look,
cool.
I'm gonna pull something. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna make up something. I'm gonna pull a party maker. I'm gonna do something every time you have another like golden tweet that people need to take and pass on. That's so funny.
I
Look,
love it.
and John Lacey said, I love my roadcaster. But he even talked about the fact too
Yeah,
that as a video guy, he still listens to 4 to 5 hours of audio podcasts most days, and he can multitask
yeah,
that way.
yeah.
And
It allows you to do more things.
speaking to the year, he also said he found one of my 2016 podcasts, which I think is hilarious because
Oh
I
Lord,
know it
I love it.
probably was really bad.
No, you've never produced. You know what's funny to me is you've never produced um, anything that didn't have value.
Yeah.
And we joke about this all the time offline. There are several people that I don't have to ever second guess. Like you could take 6 months getting back to me. I know that when you answer, it's going to add value. And so I've always been in awe of your excellence, your professionalism, and your ability to continue to do what you love doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And you are the same. You know that? I think birds of a feather and all of that. I don't have good quotes.
All that good stuff. She said I don't have good quotes.
But I do think
That's
I
funny.
think that people who I do think like attracts like, and especially in this world of
Yeah.
digital and online space, I feel like there's a community being built of some real and authentic and honest and trustworthy people. And
Yeah.
it makes my heart just warm to see people. For instance, in the Ecamm Live community, I've met so many tremendous, I mean, people who I never would have thought that they would be that down to earth, right?
Yeah.
The digital
Yeah.
marketplace has given us an avenue to really be able to connect with folks across, I mean, not just cities and states, but countries.
Absolutely.
And that's beautiful.
Absolutely. I think people forget that the internet was created to collapse time frames, right? You can literally be anywhere at any time and get the information that you want. I had a tweet not too long ago, and I said, imagine, and I like to have fun, but imagine having all access to all of the information that you need to change your life the way that you say you want to change it, and you choose to be entertained by gossip and stupidness, right? Like, it's what you use the tool for. Now, don't get me wrong. I like a good, cat monologue video or whatever the case is. Um, I can't remember the name of the comedian, but there's one guy, he has two cats and he talk. I can't remember his name. Anyway, there's one thing to to like, that type of stuff, but we see what the algorithms do, right? You curate your own feed
Yeah.
for the most part. Now, how they show it to you is a whole nother thing. But I think community building is paramount for an entrepreneur. And even if it's people that aren't in the same field or building the same thing that you're building, they're experiencing the same pains that you're experiencing. They're having the
Yeah.
same level of questions that you have. And I think that if you can find that community, those trusted resources, then you will be huge. And one of the things that I found, I remember I had Amber Aziza on the podcast not too long ago, and she's a multi-million dollar business builder. She teaches people how to create speaking businesses, and we were having this conversation about top producers not being able to ask for help. Right? How do alphas ask for help? And you know me, it kills me when we had that conversation. You were like, "Chuck, go live and do this," and
Ah,
I'm like, and I still plan on doing that, but I ruptured with the Achilles, so that was put on hold. At least that's the story I'm telling myself.
that's what you're telling
Um,
yourself.
but she said, how do who is a billionaire going to ask for help? Right? There's only so many of us. And not to say that we're all billionaires right now, that's the goal, of course. But for people that have the vision that we have to be able to ask other people that are in this fight for help, because our spouses, while they support us and love us, they don't understand. They don't always have that same emotional attachment
Yeah.
to, I'm going to miss this deadline of getting this post up. I
Yep.
can't figure out how to edit this sound. Like that those are things that keep us up at night. But for them, they're like, man, if you don't go to sleep, you're gonna post that next
I
week
know.
and you're gonna get, two
You're going to be
thousand
all right.
likes and yeah, you're gonna be fine. I'm like, no, you don't understand.
I know.
The
It's true.
community wants me to be consistent, you know.
If I don't get this video out, it's all over. Yeah,
Exactly,
it's true.
exactly. So you have to have that community, and sometimes the community is literally just there to tell you, calm down, like
Michelle
just take a
said,
step back, calm down, let us look at it, or whatever the case is, and go from there.
Michelle said she's jumping up and down and shouting. Yes, it's true. You know, our family, they want to support, they love us, they do, on a surface level at least, understand. And some people are in business with their families. I'm not. It's not a thing for me because
Mm,
my kids don't want to do anything that I'm doing. One day I said to them, I was like, I don't know how I would love to pass off everything that I'm learning to
yeah,
somebody. Like, I would love a mentee. I think I might
yeah,
have found one, by the way. But they don't want to be a part of that. Like, this is not their thing, it's
yeah,
not their jam.
yeah.
And my husband definitely is like, yeah, you go, girl. Like, he's like, go on.
I love him. I love him
But
because he got his lane and he's like,
he's
this.
like,
I'm doing this.
that's right.
I
That's
love it.
right.
I
But we
love it.
sometimes we try to rely on the family as though they understand and they really don't. They're there for
Yeah,
support, like you said, but it we need
absolutely.
other entrepreneurs that actually are in the game to understand what we go through. I mean,
Yeah,
it's you need that community. You need the
yeah.
community.
You have to have it. Even when I reached out to you, just for proof of concept for those of you that are listening, I have. I mean, I love the format for my podcast. We can do it down to a science. None of my guests literally have ever been given a list of questions. However, what I found is that sometimes my full person, like I can be me on her podcast, but I can't be me on my podcast because I have to be the person that they want me to be on the podcast. So like I was talking to Tanya and I'm like, I should do a live where it's kind of just like a backyard feel, still
Mm-hmm.
give the gems and all that good stuff, but maybe broaden the audience and relax. But how will they view me?
Yeah.
Right? How will my existing viewers and listeners view me? And I'll never forget you said, Chuck, they already rock with you. So if they get to see more of you, the other sides of you, that's just going to lock them in even more. And I never forgot that because I think as entrepreneurs, we not only do we overthink everything, we over penalize before
Yep.
anything ever happens. We over penalize, and then we're just stuck not moving.
Yep.
Yeah, so
All the time.
there's that. Yeah,
All the time. I've gotten
it's
to the point now where I'm like, you know what? I don't have a whole lot of time. John, you're funny. Tanya's daughter is too busy jumping out of plane. It's true.
that's hilarious. A perfectly good airplane? Nah.
I know, but she loves to. This is what she wants to do. She wants to get her license in skydiving, and I'm like, okay, that's you. I'm not doing that,
Woo.
but I'm gonna be down in the ground saying, "Go, girl!" Like
Listen,
she's
clapping, right?
like that's
Clapping.
and praying.
Listen, do that life insurance before she gets that certification. It's a little bit cheaper. I'm not, speaking nothing. I'm just saying, as a licensed professional, do it before she get the license. You get better
Right.
rate. There's that.
Yeah, it's just an interesting thing. Yeah, be you. I love y'all and the community. See, and this is what I love too. Is I love that when we do these live streams, and this is what I think, Chuck, about you. I think that just like in my space,
Yeah.
I call it small but mighty. Like I have a smaller crew. I don't have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, but what I do have are people who recognize the information, take it and use it and do something with it. And they rock with
Yes.
me. That's what I was telling you is that the people who really are meant to be with you, they're there and they're going to be
Yeah.
there. And a few will
Yeah.
add on and trickle in, and that's all good, right? But we're speaking to the people who we need to speak to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Those people will find you. It's always easier to have the vision versus accept the ramifications of it, right? It's always easier to um, paint the picture in your head than pick up an actual brush. And I think that one of the reasons that you've been so successful, whether it's brand partnerships or finding your community and finding your cadence, is because you've realized that motion creates emotion, right? As long as you keep moving forward,
Wait.
you're gonna feel good about it. Oh, that's a new one. I like that one.
I'm going to start doing gold. Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah. No, you've been phenomenal about it. I mean, motion creates emotion, and you have where we struggle is we get caught in that paralysis of analysis, and all that good stuff. But
Yeah.
if we keep moving forward, we'll feel better about
One thing that I love about you too, though, is every time I talk to you, you have ideas.
it.
You have
Yes.
ideas for other people even more than you have for yourself, Chuck, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I'm a giver, right?
You are.
I think at my core, and it took me a while to accept this, right? Being from East Oakland, you can't be labeled as a giver, um, and that's a whole nother story. But I am. One of the things that I did have to learn though is as a giver, you have to make sure that you give to yourself too. And so the ideas that I have for other people is because I've been blessed and cursed with this vision, um, that I've always been able to have. And I see people, like you said in the introduction, I see people 10 steps ahead of where they are.
Yeah.
Right. And it only takes one or two conversations, three conversations. If you're serious about what we're talking about or whatever the question is, I can, for some reason, and I'm not a prophet, this ain't a religion thing, none of that stuff. I can just see it. And in the streets, again, I got to go back to my East Oakland because I got to be me. In the streets, when you put somebody on, they come back and they take care of you, right? So if you happen to be really good at street racing, and I tell you, God, I'm using that so loosely. If if you happen to be good at street racing, and I happen to tell you that in Oakland, I know the competition is fierce, but you go over to Union City, you can clean up, right? And in Union City, you go over there, you make a couple $1,000s off the race, you come back, you put some money in your pocket, right? And I think that that's part of that old quote: "You help enough people get what they want, you get what you want by default."
That's right.
And so I am always willing to share ideas with people, and I think it comes from sometimes you can see around the corner that they can't see, right? Sometimes you've been to the 10th floor, they've only been to the fourth, and they think, it's really hard. No, elevators around the corner. All you got to do is do one more step.
Yeah.
Or if you take exactly what you're doing and go into this branch, right, you'll be killing it, right? Sometimes it's take your media off of Instagram. That's not your audience. Your audience is on Facebook. Take your Facebook off of Facebook, put it on LinkedIn because you want corporate sponsorships. That's where those people are spending their time. And I think that what people forget is your audience spends time where the platform is important to them, right? So when we talk about LinkedIn, if you're looking for corporate sponsorships, that's where you have to go because those people live, swear, and die by LinkedIn,
Yep.
right? They're on it every day. They're viewing your profile. You're getting that creepy notification that somebody's looked for you, that you don't know who they are.
Which I
That's a
hate.
little weird. Yeah, I don't really like that, but I understand it. Don't really like it, but if that's where you're going for, if you're looking for brand partnerships for big companies, Fortune 500 companies, say for instance you're a speaker, you need to be on LinkedIn. Instagram will get you the local. It may even get you some big brands, but the competition for viewership is so high over there that you could literally clean up and get five different companies, fortune companies at that, and do speaking engagements off of your LinkedIn, right? So why compete in an area where your market is not even paying attention?
Hmm.
Right? Let the influencers, let the TikTokers, let them do their thing over there. Fortune 500 companies, unfortunately, are still on LinkedIn, right? So you
Yeah.
go over there and you kill it, and you show them that you're available, that you bring value to the table, and you will get rich. Stop trying to be popular. Go be rich, right? That's my thing. Low tech, high check.
Hold up. He just had another one. Wait, I need to do my gold again. No, this one is going to be
Oh,
woo.
fire. I like that one.
All
That's
right,
Khaleesi
fire.
vibes.
Now, Dan, I will say anyone that can get Tanya to shout encourage $100 gift card of their choice.
Oh, listen,
He did not.
we'll do a three-way in the DMs. I can definitely make that happen.
You know what? You probably could make that happen.
Guaranteed. If it ain't for nothing but to call me out my name for what like I can make it happen. I can make it happen.
Okay, so podcasting to video. What made you finally
Yeah.
decide? Because I remember again, audio, 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 and then you did some
Yes.
video. Are you doing video right now, Chuck?
Still doing video. Still doing video. I have. It's weird because the last year, recovering from the Achilles injury, um, the mobility kind of just slowed me down, and I didn't really feel like getting in front of the camera. However, it created some additional opportunities for me to literally, ooh, I gotta say this. I hope the IRS ain't watching.
Uh
To
oh.
double my revenue without actually working on, the podcast or whatever the case, or without recording new episodes, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But leveraging some AI, leveraging some of the various tools to increase viewership of the existing episodes. That being said, what made me go to video? You remember Paul Bronson,
Mm-hmm.
right? When we had the Mentor Mondays back in the day, Paul literally stepped on my neck and said, "Chuck, you want to be a host. You want to be a power host of, whether it's your own show or somebody else offer you the good check, whatever the case is, you want to be a host, but people can't see you. How does that work? And so it wasn't honestly any major, you know, come to Jesus moment. It was literally that conversation. It partnered with you, and you were like, Chuck, can't nobody see you. And I
I
was
know
like,
video.
I don't want
Like what?
nobody to see me. Like, I'm not Idris. Like, I need to just, the voice works. I can do various things with the voice, but this face, I can't do nothing with it. And so, I was hesitant to do it. But what I found is that people trust what they can see,
Yeah.
right? It used to be people trust what they hear. Now people trust what they see, and that's going to change with AI and the things that you can do with it. But to build the community that you need, to build the community that can be mutually beneficial for both you and your community, and everybody can get to the bag at the same time, they have to be able to see you. And they have to be able to see you so that they can watch your eyes, watch your mannerisms. They can tell when it's fake. And I
Sorry, I
think
had to do
that
that one.
that's so funny. That makes me think of Rick Ross now. Ride on the river. Anyway, I video is important now because I think I have a sentimental reason too. So outside of the community and the business building, all that good stuff, um, COVID made me realize that we don't have forever, right?
Yeah.
We don't have this forever that we tell ourselves we have. That I'll do it
Yep.
tomorrow. That I'll do it next week, or I'll push
We
that
don't
back
have
when
it.
the time is right. All that good stuff. And so for me, the video has become part of the legacy that I leave for my daughters, right?
Yes.
So God forbid anything happens to me, they will be able to go on YouTube, click on whatever the case is, and they will be able to see my face and see how my eyes light up when I talk about them. My
That's right.
wife will be able to, go on and see me talk about. She'll be able to hear the love in my voice, but she'll be able to see it. And so for me, video is I don't see how you create content now without it. I just honestly don't. And, I'll be honest, even though I'm not Idris, some of these people that's creating video need to be more worried about their faces than I need to be. So
He
that's a
said
whole other.
that.
If they can do it, no, I said it, but that was wrong. I
But no, it
apologize.
was,
But if they can do it, right, and feel good about putting their content out, right, bonnets on, scarves on, hit like,
yeah, it's true.
listen,
You're not
I
saying
put
a
on
lie.
cologne for you today. Yeah, look, I
He
put on cologne for
said
you
he
today. You
put
can't
on
even smell this
cologne.
because it's you. I put on cologne.
He put on
But I
cologne.
think videos just it's mandatory at this point. Everything is
Yeah.
gearing towards. I mean, at this point, audio is going to be analog. It's going to be secondary. You have to be able to see the faces of the people that you so called know, like, and trust.
I think I need to put a love up for this. Let's see. I love that because it's so true. It's true. And I think that the more we come out and do video,
Yeah.
the more what happened for me is that there was this realization that I can do this. Like
Yeah.
I started building a confidence muscle, like I always try to talk about. I started building up a muscle because initially I had a very low self esteem about how I looked on camera. Yes. And how I would be
I remember you telling
perceived.
me that.
Look, Chuck,
I know.
things
I
didn't look
know.
all great. They weren't all like tight. It was just, it was very limited what I was doing in a walk in closet. And I did not feel comfortable and confident about my appearance and all those things that I know a lot of other people feel too. So, what
Yeah.
I'm saying is that we build up, the more we do it, the more confident we become. People keep thinking they have to have the confidence before they get on camera, but that's kind of backwards.
No, no. You learn how to drive by driving, right? And to the point where when I started doing audio, um, back to my low tech, high tech, I literally had a digital recorder. It was about 6 inches big, and I would do that digital recorder. I would jump in the closet because my girls were, young and they were loud. They're still loud, but they're older now. But I would jump in the closet because I had automatic installation from all the wife's clothes, and I would do my interviews, right? And the funny part about it is I got so comfortable with doing the interviews that I could jump on 3 minutes before we were supposed to do it, right? And so for me, the new challenge is that I know you're going to hold me accountable to is learning another platform where I can't just jump on and mail it in. Because
Yup.
when you mail it in, you're costing yourself money,
Yeah.
right? Because you can have a show that's so good for so long. At some point, you're gonna have to reinvent yourself, or you become Fast and Furious 10, right? And why is a Fiero in space? That makes absolutely no sense. You know what I mean? Like people are gonna see it, they're gonna watch it because they like the brand, but then they leave and they like,
I don't know
I don't know
why.
what Tanya was just doing on
I
that
know.
one. That was kind of, So I think that
Right.
you have to continue to reinvent yourself. You have to create new visions for every milestone that you hit. You need to knock it down and create a new one. You're only as
Yeah.
good as your last win.
That's right. I got a new big rebranding thing happening after March of this year. I'm really excited about.
Okay.
More to come. Look,
More
Dan
to
said,
come.
talk about cologne. Go to the Russian section of Brooklyn. The second you get in there, you lose your ability to smell for a month because of the cologne stench. You're hilarious.
Listen, I'm not gonna say nothing about that cool water over there. I'm gonna leave that juke alone.
Look, don't you start messing with that. Michelle said, love his analogies. I know. He has a bunch of them, doesn't he? That's why I said we need to, next time we have you on, I'm going to do a bingo card. It's going to be a virtual bingo card. And every time you have a saying, I'm going to have people like mark it until until they get
Yeah, until you
bingo.
run out of space. Until you run out of space. Yeah, it's I it's funny that she called that out. I believe that at our core, everybody has experienced the same things, right? Like we've all experienced some form of it's some food in there. Ain't nobody going nowhere. We ain't buying nothing. It's some food in there, right? And sometimes when we're building businesses, we have to understand that our core is there's some food in there. What is it that you are absolutely amazing at? And sometimes you do it without thinking about it. Sometimes people
Mm-hmm.
ask you to do it and you're annoyed that they asked you because you know it's easy, right? But and they can't figure it out. You know it's easy. It's easy for you to do. You can do it in 10 minutes. You don't have 10 minutes, but
Yeah.
you could do it in 10 minutes. Those are the things that you need to be monetizing,
Yeah.
right? And I think that people fall in love with this grandiose idea of what they should be doing as a business. And sometimes it's the skill that you were blessed with,
Yeah.
right? And you just rock with that. For me, it just happens to be talking.
You can definitely top. You can talk. Look, Dan said next time Chuck comes on, I'm playing a drinking game.
Listen, I'm with that too, Dan. I'm with that too. We could
For
talk whiskeys.
every saying that you collect, you can collect all the cards, the tweet cards.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Look,
No,
he said he
you
just
know,
realized you're between two ferns. Are
these are
you?
not ferns. Believe it or not, these are monsteras. Um, yeah, those I know, right? So here's a gem. I'm a plant dad, right? I am responsible for. And my daughter's laughing at me. I am responsible for every plant in this house. I have
What?
two monsteras right here. I've been growing them. I think both of them are about 8 or 9 years old. This is one. The other one you can't see in the frame, but the other one is a little bit taller. And they're all like about. They're both about 8 years old. I'm a
He's
plant
a
guy.
plant dad, y'all. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
I love my husband is a plant dad too.
Love it. I love it. It brings us peace, right? You get to watch
Yeah.
something. This is so anti-gangster, but you get to watch something just grow.
He
You
said
know, it
anti-gangster.
anti-gangster in my head. I still got it. But you get to watch something just grow, and you get to watch what I think plants are a good analogy. Again, you get to watch something grow off of your repeated efforts, right? You water them. Let's say
Yeah.
you water them every 7 to 10 days. You know that they're getting a certain amount of water. You know that they're getting a certain amount of light. You do that over time, and you get good plants. Now, if I just happen to, go to Atlanta for a month and a half, I come back, I haven't done anything, I'll still have plants, but they won't look like this. You know what I
Look,
mean? And
Dan trying to take us down a whole different path. The only plants
the
I
only
like are
plants,
the ones I can smell. Don't you
you
start.
know what?
Don't respond,
Listen,
Chuck. You and Dan, this is why I can't have you
We gonna,
two. This is why
we
we
gonna
can't
have
have
another
nice
talk. Me and
things.
Dan gonna rock later. This is why we can't have nice things. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. I like Dan. Yeah, me and Dan gonna talk.
Oh, so there's a joke. He's explaining, look up Between Two Ferns. It's one of the funniest movies you will ever see. I don't know if I've
Okay.
seen that. Okay, we're
All
going to
right.
look it up,
So,
Dan, and then come
oh
back.
Lord, Dan. Dan is hilarious. No,
Oh,
I want to thank you for extending this opportunity to me. I know I was super nervous about coming on, and because you never want to come into someone else's community and not bring value. So now I see what my other guests are feeling, right? When they're like, Chuck, I'm not ready. You didn't give me any questions, and so I get it now. I apologize. I'm still not giving you no questions up front, but I understand at least now. I want to be
now,
able to
Chuck,
add some value.
check,
Yeah.
check this out. I sent you some questions. You just didn't see them. I don't think
What
you
did I tell
opened my
you?
email.
Low tech, high check.
He is low tech,
But
high
I'm ready
check.
to rock with whatever question you have.
And that's
And it's
why I
not that
wasn't
I
worried.
probably didn't see him. I probably didn't see him. You're probably right. But if you want to fire one of them off, we can do it. We got time. You said you got
I've
time
been
today.
firing some of them off already, but I knew I was
Uh,
going to go off topic with you.
yeah, that happens.
I knew I was going to do
Anytime me and
that.
you listen, I had questions for you that we never got to. So that happens with us.
Right?
That
So I just knew, look, here's my perspective when I do interviews now is I want people to get to know you like I know you. Because
oh
almost
wow.
everybody I interview is someone
Yeah,
that I've known for some time, someone who I feel good about this person. Like we are friends. We have made a connection, a heart connection, right?
yeah,
So I feel like I want people to know you for real, not just know the surface level and know what you
yeah.
do as a business owner. I want them to know that too so that they know how they can use you and use your
Absolutely.
services. So we're going to ask about that next. But I also really just want people to know who you are as a person because I feel like this, Chuck, right now. I feel like we are in such a situation. You talked about COVID. I guess I shouldn't even say that on camera, but anyway, the C word, in case I have to edit it
Yes.
later. I
Right, right.
feel like I'm at this space right now where people need to know people. People need to feel supported and encouraged by other real stories, not just this, hey, I'm a six figure this and I'm a six figure that and here's look at my car and look at my fancy house. No, we need to know people like on a real level.
Yeah,
Like you're
yeah.
at home, you've had this Achilles injury for some time.
Listen, I got a whole new respect for athletes. In my head, I was a starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys. Um, and I'll tell you, this Achilles, it's when they tell you it's a 1 year injury, it really is. Like you're off your feet if you listen to what they tell you to do. Again, if you
I'm not going to
listen,
start with you. I know.
yeah, yeah. It's you're 4 months before you're even on a crutch, right? Like, and it's allowed me to slow down to your point and just really focus on how do I want to spend the time, right? How do I want to invest in people to a point where not only can I create a good living for myself and the kids and
Hmm.
the wife and all that good stuff, but how can I show myself and show up for people that may need me and don't necessarily want to deal with all the glitz and the glams and the click
Yeah.
throughs of I know you bought this, but maybe you should buy this, like the click funnels. I can't stand them. I get them, don't get me wrong, and I understand them. I might even use a couple. But I think that there's a demographic of people out there, the people that truly need help with liftoff really want to know who they're dealing with.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to say I'm a six-figure earner. It's one thing to say I'm a seven-figure earner. But I have to tell you how I lost six figures to get to seven.
Yep.
I have to tell you that once you get to six, then it matters where you live because six figures in California don't matter. It don't count. That first 100,000 you make in California,
It's
it,
like it's
it
not even
literally
there.
does not count. Yeah. So, I posted a while back. I said, if you're in six figures in California, be specific. What what number are you at? Because that first 100 don't count. Um, but to your point, I think that people need to see that it can be done while you're still yourself. You don't have to lose yourself to run a business.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. And Dan said, "Yep, I'm a six-figure earner, but all six figures are on the right side of the decimal." He's a hot mess. Yeah,
I
I
love it.
mean,
I love
definitely something to what you said. I think that here's what I want to ask about you. I want to ask,
it.
how can people follow you, and what should they expect if they reach out to you? Like, what should they expect to get from you? Is that a fair question?
It's a loaded question. It's very fair. I think you can pretty much find me everywhere as either Chuck is Hustle or the Hawk Vision podcast. What people can expect when they reach out to me is an honest conversation. I'm not somebody that's ever going to try to sell you anything. I'm not even my services. I honestly, that's not how I rock. I'm not going to give away too much for free, but I'm not going to sell you on anything because I think for the most part you'll be able to find the answers that you need in a brief conversation. I'm a big sharer of, is that a word? A sharer of
We're gonna make it
information.
a word. Yeah.
We'll make it a word. So yeah, if you reach out to me and you want coaching or you want speaking or whatever the case is, I have a vision talk that when I tell you, it's fire. It is. I've broken down the word vision. I've broken down the word hybrid, and I've actually broken down the word pivot. And when I tell you, it's some whole. You thought the analogies was good here. When they cut a check, the analogies get a little bit better. But
So
I think if anybody that
speaking,
reaches out, yeah,
is
yes,
what they can reach out to you for if they want
absolutely.
to find a
We do speaking and
podcast
coaching.
guest.
Absolutely. Speaking,
Okay,
coaching, and connection. Those are my
sweet.
three things.
That's what I wanted to
Absolutely.
know. Because you are a motivator and you are a hustler. I know those are your two words, the
Oh
words
man.
of the
Eh,
day.
Yeah, yeah. I will do those two things as long as there's breath in my soul. And it's not even to I used to say hustle harder, and I still do. But now it's more so of creating a vision. I think a lot of people are lost or stuck or are unhappy with where they are because they don't have a full vision for where they can go.
Yeah.
And, not a super religious person, but one of my favorite verses is a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. You can be a wise woman too. What are you going to do to create that inheritance? Right.
Thank you for
That's
following
that's the
Dan.
legacy. Oh,
Dan
thanks.
followed you on the tweeter.
On the Twitter, yeah, yeah. So again, don't get me wrong, Dan. Twitter is East Oakland for social media, so it's not always going to be motivational, but it'll always be consistent. I think it's no. I see, and again, so this is the thing, right, Tanya? And so I know we're coming up on time, but this is the thing. I no longer want to run a business where I can't be myself. I no longer want to run
I'm
any
with you.
faction of my life where I can't have fun and be free to be me.
Yep.
If I do that, um, it'll have to be a hell of a check and it'll have to
Hmm.
be temporary. But I don't want to do that. I think that running a business is hard enough when you're not being fully who you are.
Yeah. And what's the point?
Yeah,
What's the
absolutely.
point? You know, the reason why I got into business is because I wanted creative expression. I wanted to finally take off the suit, and the corporate, persona, and actually show myself to be who I really am and to be as creative as I wanted to be, to do all the things that I wanted to do. And if we have a business, I mean, but we're, I guess, living somebody else's dream, what is the point?
Yeah, it's hard to. It makes the business part of it harder when you are still running your business as if you are at work,
Yeah.
right? And there are some things that you do at work that carry over to running a business. Communication, timeliness, all those good things.
Yeah.
But when you know, a while back, one of the big terms was code switching, right? When you're code switching, um, in your business, like that takes the joy out of it. And the
Mm-hmm.
business is hard enough to create from the ground up and run. If you're code switching on top of that, you're gonna choke it out. You're gonna choke the life out of it.
Yeah, people need to understand what code switching is. Y'all go and look up code switch. My daughter asked me, my 15-year-old daughter asked me what that meant today. So I explained it to her.
Ooh, how did that go?
It was interesting because I wanted to know. So, in what context? Like, have you said that
Right.
this
Where
is
did you
something you
hear
do?
this?
Like, what?
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
So, we had a really in depth conversation about that. And I
I
won't
love
dive
it.
in there now. But yeah, that was
That's a
interesting.
that's a that's another conversation.
That's
We'll
another,
rock.
yeah, podcast slash interview. And Dan said,
Absolutely.
"Have you seen my comments? Do you think I'm always motivational?" You and Dan, I got a feeling, are going to get along just fine.
It seems
Just
like it.
fine.
It seems
Just
like it.
fine.
Absolutely.
I do want you to answer a question that I need to go back to and I didn't answer. We
Sure.
didn't answer before. First of all, let me point out that Salon and Mini Spa, Miss Radiance by Ratilia, she said, "You better say that. You go be popular. I'm going to go be rich."
All
So
day long.
she hooked onto
All
that.
day long.
But there
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
question from Michelle earlier. She asked, when you do video and audio, did you do both independently or did you repurpose? Like, did you take your video and repurpose it into audio? What did you do? What do you
Good.
do?
That's a really good question. I'll be honest. I am really bad at repurposing audio. Now, aside from cutting clips of the podcast and all that stuff
Yeah.
to post, I'm really bad at repurposing audio. So for me, um, I use my phone a lot, and I will go ahead and freely start the argument. I'm Team Android. I will use my phone a lot um, to create memos for myself, right? And depending on what the inspiration is, it'll be all audio, right? Depending on what the inspiration is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, most times, it will be video. The problem comes in where I get the inspiration and it's 2:30 in the morning and the insomnia is kicking in and I'm looking like Samuel L. Jackson on that meme and I can't go live with the video. But to answer her question, I fully believe in both. If I had to put my life on the line, video, right? People need to see the emotion that is in you when you have that thought. They
Yeah.
have to see it. And so um, when I had just the audio, I left it just the audio. And for YouTube, they allow you to put like a static image or something like that. So I'll do that with some of the older conversations that I've had. But in general, it's all video. Even if it's just holding the thing, and
Mm-hmm.
making a quick video of what I saw. It has to be video now. I think the market won't let you be all audio right now.
You know, one thing I just have to get your opinion on for the folks out
Yeah.
there. I'm just going to say this, and I hope it's not going to lead us into another hour. I promise, because I respect your time.
Listen,
Look, I
it's you. You
respect
got
your
me. You
time.
good.
This is my question for you. This is something that was bugging me earlier. This whole
Okay.
idea of shorts, okay? And specifically, I'm
The
talking
YouTube
about
shorts.
no, not necessarily. Well, it can be, but any type of short
Okay.
video clips.
Yeah.
The entertainment value, like I heard you, you saw that I used one of your clips to
Yes.
promote this, right? I
Where I
just
had the
want
biggest
you,
head possible. That's the one you landed on. Okay.
I
But go
loved
ahead.
that clip because of what you said, though.
Yes.
I love what you said because I just want you to share. You're not going to get in trouble, Dan. He said you better take off before he gets into trouble.
That's hilarious.
um, I want you to share your thought on the difference between entertainment value when it comes to video content versus value content. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there is a, I think it's okay to have that mix, and you alluded to it a little bit earlier, but can you just speak to that before we get ready to wrap?
I think that you have to be intentional about the information that you post, right? Um, and that's part of being authentic of who you are.
Yeah.
I think so much focus is spent on creating content, and this is a version of what I said in the video. So much emphasis is being focused on creating the content, whether you're a realtor or a speaker or a coach or you're teaching people how to trade stocks or you are a baker or street chef, whatever it is. So much information is being um, created that people are forgetting to run the business that the content was created to attract, right? And so, perfect example. I'm not going to say this person's name. Ooh, I should because I'm petty, but I'm not going to say this person's name. But there's a certain person that I absolutely love their. Ooh, I can't even say their industry. I love their work, and um, offered them a blank check to do some work with them. Now they're up and coming, right? They're not I say that loosely. They're not established. You know, they don't have 100,000 followers or whatever the case is. But again, I see people for where they can be.
Yes.
And so I offered this person a blank check. You give me the quote, tell me what it'll cost. I will make everything else happen. Like, I don't have a problem. I want to work with you because I like what you're doing. Had the discovery call, got to the point of, okay, those ideas sound are on par with what I'm looking for. Watch this person create content for the next 45 days straight. And yes, I'm petty enough to count. I don't care if you scheduled it to post because you created it and had it in your back pocket. I don't care if you ruptured your Achilles. Not being able to circle back and come get the blank check, not being able to circle back and create the quote, not
Yeah.
being able to answer the DMs and emails and whatever it is that the content was created to do means that you're more focused on the vanity side than the profitability.
Oh, yeah.
You're competing in an area that is not going to bring in revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're competing in an area that is not going to bring in revenue, why are you in business? See,
Yeah.
I think one of the things that a lot of people do is they let social media distract them from the goal.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is to make money, right? For most people,
That's right.
um, me included. One of the wealthiest men that I know, I can freely say he's been on my show, Edwin Haynes, over $700,000 a month, 200, 300 followers on Instagram, posts once every 3 months,
Yep.
right? And so, if you look at industries, I'm going to use these two industries loosely, but if you look at real estate and you look at investing, right? All of the money that is ever created ends up in these two spaces. It
Mm-hmm.
ends up in real estate or it ends up on the stock market. Why are you letting a venue get in the way of the destination? You're not working on the business, you're working on content. Now, if you want to be a content creator, that's great. But you have to be able to set up a system that answers that answers the requests, the DMs, the business leads that your content creates. That bothers me so much.
I had to have, I don't know what came to me just now about that, but I had to speak to that because that is something that has been really bugging me too. I'm seeing a lot of entertainment value content. I'm even seeing like the
Yeah,
trends on TikTok with the boat. We all know about the boat.
yeah, the boat.
And I'm seeing, and I keep thinking, why do people care more about that than care about how to actually create a sustainable business that's generating income so that you can support your family, support your loved ones, take care of the elderly, whoever it is that's in your life that you need to support. Instead, we're out here dancing. And I don't want to say show monkey, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. We're actually being
Ooh,
out here trying to be show monkeys instead of being the true professionals that we truly are. And the fact is, it's getting all these likes, but to the
yeah, but I
point
ain't giving
that
you no money.
you ain't getting paid for that. So,
Yeah, and
John,
and that's the thing. You see people, doing all this work, and then they're mad at the platform. Oh, they're
yeah,
limiting my views, and no, they're not. You don't know how to do business. You know how to create content. You don't know
yeah,
how to do business because you can have 20 likes on something and create business
that's right.
versus having 1,000 likes on something and nothing is coming from it.
That's right.
So, are you intentional about running a business, or do you want to create content? And I think that one of the people that I've seen that is excellent at it, besides yourself, is my friend Denise the broker. And Denise the broker is literally an international real estate mogul. She just opened up an office in Dubai, and she's one of the
Awesome.
youngest Black women to own a real estate firm in Atlanta. But she just opened up a firm in Dubai. What she does is she'll have content days and she'll show her audience that this is a content day. So for the
Mm-hmm.
next month, you'll see stuff that I'm creating today. But off of the ones that have the most views, she will repurpose those and she will say, this is the class that I'm teaching. This is the investment opportunity that I have. These are
Yeah,
the people that I'm doing business with because of that content day.
that's
So
right.
she's very intentional about showing what the content creates
Yep.
versus, oh, and I'm, ooh, women have it easier because they can just be cute and get a million likes. But
No,
you
it's
have
not
to be
easy.
able, she said it's not easy. It's not easy being cute, or it's not easy being, you know what, don't answer that.
Anyway,
Um, no, but I think you have to be intentional, right? Because I think that's the part that frustrates people with social media is you're
yes,
worried about the likes and the views when the money is still in the same place as it was before social media started.
that's right.
And that's relationships
That's
and your
right.
people skills. Your income will never grow faster than your people skills.
That's right. The systems behind all the social. That's the thing that
Yeah,
I've really been really contemplating on and what I'm about to start building a couple of courses around because I have built out my own dashboard, which I may do a little demo tomorrow. For those of you who are in my
yeah,
community, I may do a little demo of it. But I've created an entire dashboard of all the content that I'm going to create moving forward this year. And every
love
single
it.
piece of content within that dashboard is tied to two things. It's tied to a call to action
Yes.
and it's tied to an intention. Like, what am
There
I
you go.
trying to do with this content? Am I trying to? Because I have 5 E's that are intentions for all my content. Educate somebody. Am I trying
Yes.
to empathize? Am I trying to encourage? Am I trying to entertain? Which most of the time for me, that's not my game, but maybe that's some other people and they can make money with that.
Yeah.
I'm not an entertainer, right?
Yeah.
So, what am I trying to do? Am I elevating my brand? Am I promoting
Right.
something, right? Those are my 5 E's. And so the more I can tie every piece of content to an intention, to a purpose, and to a call to action, the more
Yeah.
likely it is going to do what it do. It's going to do what I'm intending it to do and not just be out there because, hey, it's fun and funny. I got the most likes on this TikTok that I did where I was carrying a purse around the house. It was because the question was, what is something that you can't do without? And I had gotten this new purse that my husband bought me, and I carried it
Yeah.
everywhere, the bathroom, the kitchen, wherever. And
Yeah.
people just got a kick out of that. But then I sat back and I looked at that and I was like, now, what did that do for anybody? That didn't do
Yeah.
nothing.
I think that there's an entertainment value. It's hard to be serious, 100% of the time. But
Yeah.
to your point, at some point, we have to be. Unfortunately, we have to be adults, right? And we
Yeah.
have to figure out how to bring in revenue.
Yeah.
And I think that the 5E system that you created is important and it's ingenious actually because it, it gives you targets, right? You can't hit what you don't see. And for me, everything that we do should be for the sole purpose of creating another opportunity,
Yes.
right? We can't do anything just for the sake of doing it. I'm not a fan of meeting people just to meet people. I want to know what you're passionate about. I want to know what you're trying to do. I want to know what you like, right? Like
Yeah.
I am. This is gonna sound bad, but I truly believe there's an old quote that says, "If you live long enough, you'll understand the villain." Right? And the reason that I use that quote is because we used to demonize wealth, right? We used to demonize wealth. The wealthy people are evil. The wealthy people are mean. The wealthy people don't care whose neck they step on.
That's right.
Some of that may be true, but you know what else the wealthy people are? Not stressed out. They're not worried about how they're going to pay the bills. They're not worried
Yeah.
about if their daughter can continue to go to this private school next year because I'm not going to have the revenue. They're not worried about um, what's going to happen if something happens to a family member. How are we going to pay those bills?
That's
The
right.
job is not to create more time. The job is to make your time more valuable. right? It's impossible to create more
You
time.
can't
But what
create
you
more time.
can do is leverage that time so that your time is now more valuable, and you give your money a job. Your money's job is to go create more friends, go make
Yeah,
more money.
that's right.
And the more people that you are around that understand leverage and people skills and communication and opportunity and building businesses, the easier money will come to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound arrogant. We can attract money. You and I can attract money with our eyes closed, right? That's not the hard part. The hard part is making that money grow with the people that we know, like, and trust.
That's the truth right there.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
So,
Well, thank you for indulging me in that last question. I didn't mean for it to go so long, but I thought, you know what? If anybody's going to weigh in on this thought that I have, this little seed that's been planted, I knew it would be you, and I knew you would come through because I think we have to just kind of lay it out there and be real. I love the fact that there is awareness content, and I that's the way I'm kind of categorizing some of the stuff that I'm seeing. The entertainment stuff, the pure entertainment, it's awareness, it's
yes,
drawing people to your stuff. But you have to realize that once they get there, if your content or whatever you're talking about doesn't resonate with them, they're moving on their way to the next entertainment thing.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely. I
you
think we didn't talk about it, but demographics and knowing your business, knowing your target customer
yes,
absolutely matter. You have to compete where you have a chance to win.
yes,
Otherwise, it's lambs to the slaughter, right? And so, again, I said it before, but maybe your audience isn't on TikTok. Maybe you're not you personally, but maybe your audience isn't on TikTok. Maybe your audience isn't on LinkedIn or
yeah,
Instagram or whatever the case is. Do some research. Take the time to do some baseline research. Figure out where your audience is and
mm-hmm.
go all in there. Otherwise, you're spreading yourself thin trying to find a platform that will post to everything
Yeah,
when that one post is only going to speak to LinkedIn. That one
mm-hmm.
post is only going to speak to Instagram. And if there's no call to action on it, we
Yeah.
wasted time.
They just scrolled right past, like they looked at it and said, "Oh, that's cute," and went on to the next
Hmm.
thing because there was no call to action. So yeah,
Absolutely. I
thank
know
you.
I've been long winded. Thank you so much for having
No,
me.
it was great. Thank you for indulging me. Like I said in my question, at the end because
Anytime.
it came to me and I was like, I got to get this in here. I
No,
need to talk about it. And it seems that it was appreciated because I'm seeing a lot of different comments about that as well. So thank you. Because Renee said the system behind the socials is so needed.
absolutely.
And then Michelle pointed out your income will never grow faster than your people skills. So people are going to remember these nuggets that you've shared. Thank you, John, too, for being here with us. Thank you, everybody who's here in the feed.
Yes, thank
Yvette,
you guys. I know y'all could
Michelle.
have been anywhere in the world eating tacos and doing your thing. But you was here with Tanya and me, and I don't take it lightly at all.
I don't
I
either.
appreciate
Your time is valuable. Michelle said, love the authenticity and bombs on today's show. Thank you both so much. Everybody's saying thank you.
it.
All right, y'all. Well, we're going to let you all go. I got to let Chuck go so he can get back to his kiddos, his
Yes,
daughters.
yes. I got to go do the daily debrief. They both tell me how their day was, and who's a friend that wasn't a friend yesterday, who's not friends no more, and then we got to go look at these nails she got for her birthday. So yeah,
Yes,
we
tell
got
her
that.
happy birthday, happy 16. That's wonderful.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank you.
Radiance
Will
by
too.
Ratilia. Thank you for sticking with us, Scott. Yvette asked how to follow you again. So, Yvette, on the screen right underneath
Yes,
Chuck's picture, at Chuck is Hustle. That's for
yes.
Twitter and Instagram too.
Correct. Or you can follow me on the Hawk Vision podcast. Either way, I'm available. If worst case, tell Tanya to slap me in the back of the head. She does it all the time.
True that.
And
Virtually,
yes,
though.
listen, literally, literally, be like, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Ah, you a mess. I thank you for being here with us, Chuck, and thank you for being as real as you always are. I'm going to go ahead and just lead us on out real quick here. Everybody, thank you so much for being with us tonight, and we appreciate you. If you have not been following us at Stream Like a Boss TV, I'm going to tell you, I'm making some switches and some things within the next couple of months. Right now, at Get Noticed with Video is the best way to find me and follow me. I can't even speak anymore. We've been talking so much tonight. But streamlikeaboss.tv will always have the most current and up to date information about when we're going live, what our episodes are, and where you can find us. So definitely come and hang out with us at streamlikeaboss.tv. And Get Noticed with Video is my main website for any of you who might need a conference speaker or a virtual summit speaker. I am doing a lot of gigs here lately, so I may be booked up through the first half of the year, but I am more than happy to review your proposal if you have something. Alrighty, that's it. We're going to walk it on out. We appreciate you. I will see you next week in the stream on Thursday. We do have another special guest. It's going to be DJ Strick. You may have seen me on his show last week. I believe it was last Sunday. And this coming Sunday, I'm going to be on with Lamika Weeks for her show. So I'll get more information about that to share that out with you. Finally, I will leave you with this. If any of you are struggling with trying to go live, you want a system to be able to do that, you need to join me for the Let's Go Live Challenge. I'm going to pop that up at letsgolivechallenge.com because we are now registering people for the January cohort. We're going to start it at the end of January, so it's really kind of February, but it's a 7-day challenge. You can find out more by going to the website that you see on the screen. All righty, folks, have a good night, and we will see you next week. Or maybe sooner if you're watching us on any of the guest podcasts and conferences and summits and things that we have coming up. If you're on our email list, you'll see a list of all of those different things. Take good care, stay safe, and we'll see you next week in the stream.